To explain this next piece of the tariff puzzle and what it means for you, Scott Lincicome, thank you so much for being here. VP of General Economics at the Cato Institute. You practiced international trade law for 20 years, taught courses on the subject at Duke University, and now you are here to enlighten us. So thank you for being here.
Good to be back.
Okay, so let's quickly set up the importance of the export market in our country and in our state. Every year, the U.S. exports around $300 billion worth of products each to Mexico and Canada. Want to show you this. Here's how that breaks down in North Carolina. Our main exports to Canada and Mexico include chemicals, machinery, transportation equipment, computer equipment, and more. Worldwide, North Carolina exports $42 billion of products. Canada is our biggest partner, $7 billion. Then Mexico at $5 billion. So there's a lot on the line here. And if the U.S. follows through on tariffs for Mexico and Canada, and those nations respond with tariffs of their own, what should people expect to hit their wallet?
Well, if you work at one of these companies that exports goods to Canada and Mexico, well, you might be in a little bit of trouble. The last time this happened, when President Trump imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum from Canada and Mexico, those governments retaliated. They hit not only American metals, some of which made here in North Carolina, but also agricultural products and manufactured goods and appliances. And that means less money, less sales for those companies, less output, fewer jobs. The USDA calculated that just agricultural products lost about $600 million in sales for the nation overall.
Wow. And so that did have a real impact on people.
Of course, of course. And the other thing that people need to remember is that a lot of the things we send to Canada and Mexico actually come back to the United States as finished goods. Mm-hmm. So we make a lot of automotive goods here in North Carolina. We send those to Mexico. They get put into a finished vehicle. That vehicle gets sent back. Well, the tariffs that we put on that vehicle, well, that hurts. The tariffs they put on those auto parts, that hurts. And we all end up a little worse off.
Yeah. Why would Canada be more bullish about retaliatory tariffs than Mexico?
Well, a lot of it is political. The reality is that these retaliatory tariffs are going to hurt Canada and Mexico too, just like our tariffs are going to hurt the United States. But politics makes it virtually impossible for these governments to just sit on the sidelines. They have to respond forcefully. They might not go dollar for dollar with the United States, but they will try to hit strategic products, politically sensitive products, just like what happened last time.
We've heard many times that the threat of tariffs is really a negotiating tactic. What are we missing here? What am I not seeing?
Right. Well, we're not seeing the uncertainty behind all of this. When President Trump makes threats, when Prime Minister Trudeau makes threats, these things have a real effect on the real economy. Last time around, the Federal Reserve said this cost us billions of dollars in potential business investment because investors rightly aren't going to invest in a new factory if there's the chance that there's going to be tariffs on the goods they're exporting. You add that to the Federal Reserve. We just heard about maybe holding off on lowering interest rates because of this uncertainty, and that redounds to us again in the real world.
Is there something bigger at play here that perhaps the governments are trying to negotiate?
Well, there is the chance that they just want to get a little negotiating leverage for future renegotiation of the U.S.-Mexico trade agreement, formerly called NAFTA. Now, there is a thought that those negotiations are coming up in 2026, and the governments might want to be pulling those forward, and then they're all staking out their positions in advance. We can hope that's all it is, and that we're not seeing tariffs on cars and avocados and other things coming up this Saturday.
We will wait and see what unfolds. Scott, thank you so much once again for your insights.
My pleasure.